Got him. Got one. Big one. Big one. Big one. Big one. Big one. Big one in the Cullshad. Yes, sir.
Larry catches
Gotta catch the biggest bass. Throw a Cullshad. Got one. Got him. On the Cullshad. It's a good one, boys. First one on the Cullshad. We just got back from the Classic, guys, and let me tell you, it was great meeting a lot of you guys. There's a couple of y'all that comment on a lot of my videos that I finally got to meet, so it was a great time hanging out with all y'all. We're gonna go out today, and I got a whole bunch of questions. I got 2 questions while I was there. Larry, how do you catch the biggest bass? And Larry, how does it feel to catch big bass? Like, what can I do? I want to experience what you experienced. So I was thinking in my head, I was like, man, the Berkley Cullshad just came out. I was able to sneak one out of the booth, first of all. Able to get a Cullshad out of the booth. And then second, I didn't steal it, but I was able to get one. Second, is that time of the year where you really have to go fish to catch big bass. Like, that's the best advice I can give you. I can tell you lure tips, this, and the third all day. But if you really want to know how to catch a big bass, you got to go fishing for them. So we're going to take our new kayak out today. We might have some lithium batteries on the way, maybe. But hopefully by the end of April, by the time our first tournament rolls around in this thing, we should be all lithium powered up for this thing and be able to take it out with some fresh batteries in it. So with that being said, we're gonna roll this thing out, put it in the truck, and we're gonna take it to the water. So stay tuned. I'm super excited. I got some lure stuff in my head, and I'm gonna try to put y'all on some big bass. I want to show y'all how y'all can catch the biggest bass yourself. So maybe one day you'll have a producer that'll send you oh, so-and-so catches the biggest bass. Cause I can't be the only one that eats. You know, the boys gotta eat too. And gotta make sure that y'all are eating as well. Don't eat the bass, but I mean eating as far as catching big bass. Ooh, I did all that talking about looking for a lithium battery sponsor. Instead of lithium batteries, I should have found a gas sponsor. I need a gas card, a lot more. I seriously think a gas card would be more beneficial than a lithium battery sponsor. So of course I picked the one pump without the little thing at the bottom. So I guess we're gonna stay here and hang out together. Thank you. Thank you, I appreciate it. We got our gas. We need to make sure this is strapped down good. Now we don't have anything else to think or worry about except for how many big mouth bass are we gonna catch, and can we catch a 10-pounder today? I'm trying to break my PB. We have pretty much until, I think we just now hit like the consistent warm trend in Alabama. We had some thunderstorms yesterday, so that kind of cooled it down a little bit. But for the next couple of weeks on the weather app, it looks like it's gonna be pretty warm. So hopefully the fishing will be pretty good. But we're gonna find out today. We're gonna find out together today. So stay tuned. All right, boys, we have made it to the pond. We got our kayak loaded up over there. We gotta throw the battery in it. And also I just put I put my big toe in the water, and the water's pretty warm. I got my chacos on today. So I was thinking, I was like, man, it'd be pretty cool if we could maybe catch one off a bed, which I might have missed it in here because this water's like summertime warm. Like they could have been on bed in here in February. But I've not fished this pond in quite some time, so I really had no way of knowing that. All right, we're bringing 3 rods. We're gonna throw the Cullshad today, a Bullshad in here. Then also we're gonna throw a little Fritz just in case they're not wanting those other 2 lures. We did get a lot of rain yesterday, so that might, I'm not sure if that's gonna help us or hurt us. Normally I find with the Bullshad, I have a color that I really like to throw. It's called Bone. I find with that one, but it seems like normally the more clear the water is, the better they like can see it and eat it. But also just speaking about this pond as a whole, they're like day by day basis. You know, you might come out here 3 dirty water days and they don't want to eat anything. Then you come out here 1 dirty water day and they're just like, oh yeah, we love dirty water now. So definitely got some bipolar fishing here. The one really cool thing about this thing though is the trolling motor. All right, I think we're ready to go. Turn her. There we go. Locked in. And turn it up, and now we are off, just like that. Skirt. Boom. So I think what I might do first, I might kind of troll around, take a slow trolling lap and look and see if I can see any beds. I think that might be the strat we need to try out first. The water is super dirty, but we're gonna try to get kind of shallow over here and see if we can see any. Yeah, I should have brought a frog because I know they'd be eating a frog. Like, this one of those ponds that they will eat a frog. I bet you they're eating a frog right now. Like, I bet you could probably catch them at 12 o'clock, middle of the day on a frog too. It's a lot deeper over here than I thought it would be. See if we can see anything. There's a little bass right there, super small one, but it's a fish. All right guys, we got the Cullshad right here. This is the 6-inch version. I think they're gonna eat it pretty good in here. They should. And then this is the Bullshad that I like to throw in here just for comparison. They really seem to like that one. They'll also eat this one. I mean, two very natural colors. There's really big gizzard shad in here. There's also a really big bluegill in here. So you really can't go wrong with either of those baits. We are gonna go ahead and pull this one out just so we have it out and ready to go. So this thing, I'm throwing it on 20-pound fluorocarbon. When I originally got this combo, the reel already had line on it. I think it was maybe like 25-pound line. And then here recently, I actually backlashed the combo. So I ended up having to put some more line on it, unfortunately. And I don't know what pound test it was. I hope it was, you know, something thick though. My favorite thing about throwing this big swim bait is, one, it's white, so you can kind of see it coming across the top of the water. And sometimes when it gets 8, you can see the eats on it. And then it just kind of makes like seeing followers and whatnot easier to track with it. Since it's white, you can kind of see it, almost like it like illuminates what's around it. So we're just thinking, you just know where to look in the water. All right, we're gonna take this out of spot lock and we are gonna go a little bit. I don't know where we should cast at first. I mean, I've seen a whole bunch of blowups just randomly out in the middle, so we might kind of start with that. Go down. Let's see. I know it gets pretty shallow out here in the middle. So the coolest thing about these big baits like this is when you cast them out and you give them a good pop like this, they turn around. So, you know, if you have a follower, just imagine, I think I said this in a previous video, but just imagine like you're eating a hamburger and or you're trying to catch a hamburger. Like, it has arms and legs. It's not gonna hurt you. It doesn't have teeth or anything like that. You're just chasing behind it because you want to eat it. And then the hamburger just stops and turns around and stares at you. And you haven't eaten in a week. Like, just imagine how that will make you feel. And then imagine that emotion that you feel times 10 for a bass. So that's the cool thing about these. If you do have a follower, normally if you give it that pop and it turns around, and when you go back to reel it again, you're gonna know there was one following it for sure, not because it's gonna be in his mouth. Let's see. Just kind of getting some search cast out here in the middle. Y'all see that? Something just spooked a whole bunch of shad or bluegill right there. We're gonna troll our way over there. We should have rigged up that Cullshad. Oh yeah, we're about to get 8. If that fish has any size to it, it's gonna eat this thing for sure. First cast with the Cullshad, let's see. Wouldn't it be something if we hooked up first cast with it? Also, it's pretty cool because you can reel it faster. Oh, that looks so good. You can reel it pretty fast and it doesn't like just blow out. The tail still works. Oh my goodness, that's gonna get 8. Swimming straight. Hook looks like it's in place. And you can also add nail weights to it. I think it has 2 spots for nail weights. We don't have any with us today, but that's something we're definitely going to have to check out. I don't think we'll need it. It shouldn't be too shallow where we're fishing it at. Got one. Got him. On the Cullshad. It's a good one, boys. First one on the Cullshad. Let's go. First one, boys, on that Cullshad. Ate it right behind some weeds. We need to put our kayak in the spotlight. Let's go. Look at that. Come here, young sir. Boom. We got you pretty good, dog. How to catch big bass. Number 1, buy a Cullshad, or just buy big swim bait. It's gonna take you some time. It might take you a few little casts. Look at that. Boom, boom, boom. First one to eat it. Look at that, guys. First one on that Cullshad. This is my first bass ever on the Cullshad. Awesome. That's a good 2, maybe 3 pounder. Unhook them, release them so we can catch some more on it. First one, let's go. It's a good healthy one. Watch him. There he goes. All right, what does our trolling motor got going on up there? All right, got our first one on the Cullshad, boys. Awesome. See, hook came out, hook popped out just like it was supposed to, and got that good hook keeper in there. Not a magnet, not gonna call any names. Mag draft. That's a horrible idea, honestly. Because I have a mag draft. I bought a mag draft out of Academy one time, and the hook never even stayed. Like, the magnet was placed too high up in the plastic, and I could never keep the hook in place. And this isn't a video of comparing the Cullshad to the mag draft, because I just got this thing from the Classic, and I was genuinely curious on like how well it would work. Just because if you look back over the channel, I really just prefer like the hard body. If I'm gonna throw a big bait like this, I'd rather it be like a Bullshad or like a big glide bait or something like that. I just think they're cooler, but this is also like a really, really good way to catch fish. You can skip this thing. Then also sometimes, you know, they just don't want that big hard bait. Sometimes you just need a soft bait for them to even like really pay it any attention. So then I can also sling this thing. I'm actually throwing this thing on there's no way. I'm throwing this on a Revo STX. The link to all the gear that I'm using is going to be in the description, but this is a Revo STX 6:7:1 gear ratio reel, and then I'm throwing it on the Jordan Lee bladed jig rod. So this is the rod that I normally throw like chatterbait slobber knockers on. We got the Cullshad on this thing today. We're not throwing it in the greatest of conditions. One just rocked that. One hit that. Nice. Yeah, that was a good little thud. Definitely not a bait that's intended to be thrown in like grass and weeds and whatnot, but you can definitely get away with it. Might take a little bit more. Awesome, awesome, awesome. It is such a good feeling when you try something new, try out a new bait. We're not throwing a Frittside today, we're throwing a Cullshad. We just got hit right there coming through that little grass patch. I don't want to get any closer to it because I bet you that fish is still sitting over there. But yeah, this thing looks so good in the water. And then you can reel it fast. When you reel it fast, the tail still kicks. It doesn't blow out and it doesn't just start swimming back to you. It's still working back to you. This is a beauty of a lure. I'm so excited. I'm so excited to throw this thing because just as the spring progresses, this is probably going to be one of those things that's going to be in a lot of videos coming up. Another thing that's going to be in a lot of videos coming up is probably going to be this kayak, because I'm slowly falling in love with this thing to the point of like, I don't want the twin troller anymore. Just because if it starts raining out here, I can stay on the kayak, but the twin troller, no, we got to get off the water, man. All right, we got one on the Cullshad. Let's see if we can get one on the Bullshad. If we catch one on the Bullshad, we'll fish it until we get ready to switch ponds. All right, I just broke my rod. Well, that's no good. It's sad to say, I don't know if I'd rather break this rod or lose the bullshit. I think 100% any day of the week, I'd rather break the rod. That's sad. Maybe that's just a sign we shouldn't fish the bullshad today. All right, on number 2. Let's see. Yeah. Ooh, this is what I'm excited for with this kayak. Being able to fish into the wind, going down a bank, not have to do anything. My only responsibility on this kayak is to catch fish. Nothing else that you have to worry about or focus on. Water's a lot dirtier than I thought it was gonna be, but we got a lot of rain yesterday, so. There's fish back in here. I know there is. We definitely had that one right there. He definitely ate it for a little second. He just didn't get a good bite at it or a good hold on to it. I just don't want to go back there with this trolling motor and go back and spook them. That's kind of why I'm trying to stay off of them, but we're gonna try to sneak up maybe an extra 3 or 4 feet and see if maybe we can't catch one. Let's see. Got him. Got one. Big one. Big one. Big one. Big one. Big one. Big one on the Cullshad. Yes, sir. How to catch the biggest bass. Throw a Cullshad. Ooh, he snuck out. I knew we would. That's why we came all the way. We're all the way in the back of this pocket right here. That's why we came all the way back here, because we knew this would happen. Knew it. Gosh, it's like a good 4-pounder. I had a scale in the truck. That's new. Whew, that was scary. Okay, we gotta land him. We gotta. Oh, don't get in the trolling motor. He wasn't even in the trolling motor. My line was wrapped around it over here. All right, come here. Come here, dude. Come here. Come here. Let's go, baby. Not as big as the first one, but a big bass. Heck yeah. Shoot yeah, man. All right, boys, that is fish number 2 on the good old Cullshad. That makes up for breaking our rod. At least we didn't lose the bullshad. I hate that we broke that rod, though. It's the only, like, swim bait rod I have. This guy did not like this. I knew if we could get a bite over here, it would be a good one. Like, not the most crazy fish in the world. I've definitely hooked bigger fish over here, but I feel like we kind of passed a few of those up. They kind of outsmarted us back there. Boom, boom, boom. Let's go. It's a good thick one. Best time of the year to catch a fat one. Catch some bigger bass. Look, still right there. I could get him. There he goes, under the kayak. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So I have not been all the way to the back of this pond, but it looks like there's like a whole nother pond. I might have to get out and do a little bit of dragging. But one day I need to bring like a little chainsaw or something back in here and cut that limb and see if I can't find a way to get back in there. Boom, dude, on the Cullshad, fish number 2. We've had one bite that we missed on it. That's one thing that I was worried about, just the hookup ratio with this thing, but we've only had one bite that we missed. and it felt pretty light, even though sometimes the light bites are the big ones. But so far we're 2 for 3. Hook clip and everything are holding up good. I think that's really going to be the test of this lure, is after you've caught, you know, 10, 15 fish on it, how well is that hook clip going to hang up? And then the plastic is extra thick because they were able to make, they carried over the honeycomb tail pattern from the power stinger, so they're able to make the plastic thicker, but it has that juicy action, has that juicy tail action. So, boom, man, we got 2 fish on it. See if we can pop a third right here. Oh, that's so exciting. I mean, it was literally that's 4 foot across right there at the widest point, if that. And just seeing the ripple, seeing it come over and wake, eat the swim bait. And then, you know, like my brain's telling me, set the hook, but the signal hasn't got here yet. I'm like, I think I got one. Knees shaking. Mom spaghetti, whatever that song says. Arms are heavy. Mom spaghetti, he's nervous. Oh, I don't think that was a fish. It got a little heavy there for a second though. All right, so we're gonna try to hang out right here a little bit, and then we're gonna fish our way out of this pocket. Oh man, we got 2 fish in the Cullshad, baby. Getting shallow back in here. I think I brought the paddle with us today. I knew I kind of had this plan today because I've always wanted to come back in here and fish. It's just normally when I want to come back here, I'm in the twin troller and I can't come back this far. So I wish we could make it up there to that other pond. I know that probably never gets fish back up in there. We're gonna have to figure out a way to get back there one day. But also between like snakes and snapping turtles, I don't know how worth it, because from here to there is probably 45, 50 yards. But in that 45, 50 yards, if I had to guess, there's about 3 water moccasins and maybe an alligator. So that, you know, probably go pretty hungry out here. Or definitely don't go hungry, but don't have the opportunity to eat people that often. So like, you know, I probably got some good blood in me. I have to skip out on this opportunity. All right, we're gonna whip it around, spin it around real quick and see if we can't get a couple more. Boom. Maybe it's a blessing we broke our swim bait rod. The rod that Bullshad was on, just so we can't throw it. Maybe that was just a blessing in disguise. Even though when I get back to the house tonight and I pull all my rods out of the truck and I see it, I might drop a tear for that rod. Because me and that rod have had a lot of fun. That rod is definitely the one that introduced me into swim bait fishing, or big swim bait fishing. So it's kind of sad to see it broken. But just goes to the rod graveyard. All right, we gotta spin this big old thing around. This is an awesome kayak, but when it comes to using a pedal with it, or a paddle, not awesome kayak. It's just so heavy, and then being in like this thick stuff doesn't help at all either. Kayak performs amazing, but then once you start to get it outside of open water, it can run pretty shallow too, surprisingly shallow for how big it is. Because I mean, I have a lead acid battery in here that probably weighs about 70, 80 pounds, and then I have another, you know, I have a trolling motor and whatnot that's a little bit higher than the PDL drive, or just a foot pedal drive system. So you have a little bit of extra weight in it, and then the hull of the kayak is just bigger in general than some of the other ones that I have. But it's just cool to see how shallow you can really get this thing. Like you can tell Old Town definitely took their time with this one and like thought it out. Because you really, like when you think about it, you really can't be too mad about if it doesn't paddle the greatest, because it's not made to paddle. It's made to, you know, you're able to sit down, use your feet to steer the rudder. Like you're not even, you know, a paddle isn't, paddling this thing isn't even in the question when you're on it, or shouldn't even be in the question when you're on it, unless you absolutely have to. In a situation like that, it is paddleable, but 99.9% of the time when I'm on this thing, I don't want to be paddling it, unless I know I'm going to a juicy spot, you know, where I might break a PB. All right, ooh. We're gonna hop out for a little quick second because I had an idea. I got back there and it was real mosquito-esque, so I have a thermocell somewhere. I don't know if I have any of the little patches, pods, whatever that they're called, that go inside of it. But we do have a candle and a lighter. So we're gonna, I don't know if this is the smartest idea. I'm not sure where we can keep it at. It's not gonna catch on fire, but go ahead and get it going and turn it upside down, get that citronella melting a little bit. Take that, mosquitoes. I mean, in theory, it seems like a good idea if we can figure out where to put it at to where it's not gonna burn us or like catch the kayak on fire. But luckily, if the kayak does catch on fire, we are in the water. Heat and electricity, I know, are always a good mixture. So, let's see. Alright guys, so we all know the saying, big baits catch big fish. I figured I should come on after the video and kind of show y'all some of the stuff that I like to throw to catch big fish, because we really threw the Cullshad today. I was super excited to throw it. This actually isn't out yet. It'll be out later this year, so it's kind of not fair for me to be like, hey, you can catch big fish on a bait that's not even out. Looking back on the channel, I have a couple videos up about catching fish on the Bullshad. That's probably my #1 most favorite way. It's the one thing that I'm super familiar with doing, but I also have a full box of big swim baits here. And I'll just I'm gonna plug y'all real quick. So, the good old mag draft, 6-inch mag draft, same thing as the Cullshad, not really, but you look at the tail on that one, like if you just hold them up, like, that should speak for itself right there. And then this tail's gonna hold up, like I said in the video, it has a firmer plastic in it, and the honeycomb design makes it. So definitely Cullshad whenever it comes out, whenever it becomes available. Also, big swim baits are pricey, but there is a workaround. This is a Gantrel Junior. I haven't really caught too many fish on it, mainly because the Bullshads, I have a Bullshad that looks similar to it and it's bigger. But these are lures that I'm gonna be throwing, like if you told me, hey, you have to catch a 5+ today, I would spend the day throwing one of these. I'm gonna get out early in the morning. If you wanna catch a big fish, you have to do something different than what you're normally doing. I'm not throwing this thing up tight against the bank. I'm gonna back off the bank a little bit. But it's one of those things, you have to know the pond that you're fishing. You have to explore around the pond that you're fishing. You can't just go out, you know, if you've only caught dinks at a pond, not saying there's not big fish in it, but if you've only caught 14, 15-inch bass, you know, 1 to 2 pounders, and you're looking for that 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 range, they're probably in there, but you're gonna have to fish a little bit different. You're gonna have to go out. Don't go the same way that you always go. You have to think outside of the box a little bit, and it's hard to explain that through video. I'd have to see the body of water to be able to like really tell you, hey, you need to be fishing here. One thing that I always like to try is I'll just go out to the middle. If the pond's not super big, if you're not fishing a big lake really can't help you there. But if you're fishing a pretty small pond, I'd tell you get off of the bank and just kind of cast towards the bank, but make sure your casts land about 20 feet in front of where the bank meets the water. So a lot of times I find that the bigger fish aren't necessarily right up on the bank, and they're not in that range where the medium tier fish are. The bigger fish are a little bit deeper. Sometimes that's not always the case, but in my experience, most of the big fish that I've caught, I really haven't caught too many big fish. Like, you cast up on the bank and you catch a 4 or 5 pounder. Also, you can catch bigger fish on slobber knockers, just regular lures. But if you really just want to target, like, all right, I'm tired of catching these 14, 15-inch fish, bigger lures, bigger lures, bigger lures. Some ponds might not have a 4 or 5 pounder in it, but up the size of your lure, give it some time. You're not gonna catch as many fish, but if you do it every day for a week, I can almost promise you a 4+. Hopefully that helped somebody. Bigger lures. These are not expensive. These are like $30. $30 for a fishing lure is a lot of money, don't get me wrong, but compared to $100 for this one, I'll take the $30 one. Then also, Academy makes, this is the H2O Express brand. I'm not sure if they still make this. It's not really a big swim bait, like you can still catch 2, 3 pounders on this, but you gotta think smaller fish, like a true dink size fish, isn't gonna be able to eat this thing. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Don't forget to fish them hard and have a good day. I'll see y'all in the next one. Also, leave me a comment. What do you want to see coming up on the channel? Peace. See y'all later.